Concept cars always look wicked, and then they become production cars and they look like not wicked. The Ioniq 5 though, looks freaking sweet. Hyundai has barely changed it. I've seen lots of people compare it to a Lancia Delta, and I could see no higher praise for their engineers, especially like Lancia Delta and Cyberpunk combined together. Freaking sweet. Let's look at like just the headlights. The daytime running lights have this really cool Tetris look that's just unlike any other car on the market, and the whole front end of it I think looks great. The only thing that kinda doesn't fit really is the Hyundai badge. It's sort of old school for how freaking modern this thing looks. Below the badge is a Vandy plate from Open Road Hyundai Richmond. Huge thanks guys for giving this, by the way. And below that is this. Well, right now it's not a duct, but it opens up and allows for ducting for your radiator for when, I'm guessing it opens in sport mode. It definitely opens when you're charging. Moving around the side, we have the 19-inch alloy wheels. They're diamond cut and I would just replace them. They look fine. They make it a tiny bit more efficient than the 20s, but I'm just over diamond cut wheels on SUVs. They just all look the same and kind of blah. It's so freaking big, look at this. Look at the wheelbase. We did this on the EV6 as well, but like the wheelbase on this thing's longer than like a 7-seater Hyundai. Around the back, I have to say the Ioniq 5 has a fine arse. Like these little LEDs that are square just look so cool, and we've got sort of a spoiler. I really hope that they do an N version of this with just a ridiculous spoiler. I would absolutely love that. Going into the trunk though, it's pretty practical. We don't have the top range version, so we don't have the fancy, you know, open up, auto liftgate, whatever. This one works great. I kind of like it more than a powered one, honestly. In the trunk, you do get heaps of space, although I did find something really weird down here. So first of all, if we remove this, so the first weird thing, we have tow hooks, but they're just kind of laying in here. Probably not great for the trunk. What's even worse for the trunk though, whatever's on the go down here, it's soaked. Like, look at this. There's definitely a bit of wax, but like what's on the go here? There's a drain port and it's not draining very well. If someone that knows more about cars than me can tell me what's on the go here, it seems like this is gonna be a moldy mess in a couple months. It's just so wet. Like this thing's actually drenched. Like that, ugh, look at all that water. Ugh. Weird condensation aside though, the trunk is pretty functional. They could have definitely given you more trunk space if they made it look less cool and didn't have like the sloping trunk, but then we wouldn't compare it to a Lancia and say it looks sweet, so whatever. There is one cool thing that you can do though. One second. You can get a tiny bit more trunk space by moving the back seats forward. But it's sort of weird. Like if you look at it, you just get this weird no man's land. It seems like a good spot to just lose your Big Mac. Getting into the rear seats, there's so much space back here. Like we have, what? Maybe 3 fingers of space between my head and the roof. I'm 6 feet tall. I also have like 2 hands worth of space between my knees and the front seat. There's heaps of space back here. You also have 2 charging ports, some vents, and you can even recline. Whoa. Oh yeah, also the floor back here is completely flat. So if you're an Andy and you want to put a tripod in the center, you can. Moving into the driver's seat, the first thing that I noticed in here is that whoever does the plastic finishes at Hyundai deserves a huge raise. Like, look at this. This is hard plastic. This is hard plastic. We've got hard plastics all around here, but all of them feel super premium and look awesome. We also have some, what is this, like fake leather of sorts, Andy? It feels nice. It's a good spot to rest your arms. My only complaint about the driving position really is that this center console is just higher than the armrest on the side here. It's kind of this weird, like, I feel like I'm leaning sideways when I'm in it. As you probably noticed, we don't have the top spec option. This right here is the long range rear wheel drive preferred. And so that's $5,000 less than the fancy version that you've probably seen all the reviewers have. I personally think that this is what you're gonna wanna go for. Now you don't have the lounging seats that are super fancy, and this thing doesn't move. You also don't get a pano roof, but like none of that really affects your day-to-day drive. And these cloth seats right here, they are very comfortable. The only thing that I wish that they had was seat memory. That's unfortunately not an option. All that said, the layout up here is not perfect. The storage is kind of strange. We have phone chargers here and here, but the one that you need to use for Android Auto, for whatever reason, is up in the front. So that's where your phone has to go every single time that you get it. At least if you have a purse though, instead of just chucking it in the passenger footwell, you can put it right here. They have this cool kind of little area for your purse to go. I like it. You can also open up this. It's where I've been storing my sunglasses. What I find really shocking about the interior of the Ioniq 5 and how the infotainment works is just how similar it is to the EV6, but how not annoying it is to use. And it's not like they've done an incredible job of it either. We do get a dedicated volume knob and a couple hard buttons and like a little tune switch, but at the same time, like the climate controls kinda suck. At least we do have dedicated up and down for the temperature, and it works pretty great. I do wish that you could like swipe it and get larger increments, but whatever, it served its purpose. But like, where's my seat heaters? You have to hit warmer and then go in here and swipe up. And then you're gonna go to like Android Auto or something. So then if you want to do it again, you have to press warmer and go there. It's not a huge deal, but it just seems like they probably could have just put another little capacitive thing like there and there or something. I think the biggest reason though that this hasn't annoyed me when the EV6 just made me go bonkers is that you're able to develop a muscle memory, even for stuff on touchscreens. So you're able to come in here, hit this, and it's totally fine. I don't need to look at it after a day or two. Same thing with like in the EV6, I didn't have to look at the climate controls that were there, but half the time when I didn't look, they were the media controls, and it was just infuriating. I'm flabbergasted at how much more I like this, even though it's so similar. Up front, we have two 12-inch displays, and they look pretty great. They have this iMac-like white bezel around them, and I think it looks pretty good. We've seen so much piano black, and this is just better. Like, look at this. I'm touching it, and you're not able to see that I have just a whole bunch of smudges there. It's great. Unlike the steering wheel, which is Smudge City right now. Because these are buttons that I press all the time, they look horrible, and they're always going to look horrible. Another mild annoyance is that some of the buttons here that I press the most are Android Auto and Setup, and those are pretty far away, so you're kind of reaching, and especially on a bumpy road, you can accidentally just swipe it instead of clicking the thing that you wanted. Overall though, my first couple days with this were very painless. It just comes with the settings pretty much how you want it. Unlike the EV6 where I had to change a bunch of things and turn a bunch of things off to make it like Hyundai just gives it to you. The gear lever is, it's very phallic, and you just give the tip a little bit of a twist and you're good to go. But not until I tell you about our sponsor, Grammarly. Thanks to Grammarly for sponsoring this video. Communicating online through email, Slack, or Discord can be easily misinterpreted and become a huge time block. This is why all working professionals need a tool like Grammarly. Grammarly is an all-in-one writing tool that helps you with grammar and spelling suggestions. Simply install the free desktop app, log in, and start typing. There's also Grammarly Premium, which provides you with more in-depth feedback on your writing. We recommend checking out the tone, transformation, and clarity tools. They help you by rewording phrases to make sure you sound more confident and by removing unnecessary jargon to help get your point across clearer. Work smarter, not harder. Go to grammarly.com/shortcircuit to sign up for a free account and get 20% off Grammarly Premium today to help you save time and work more efficiently. Now let's drive her. I'm gonna get some nitpicks out of the way here first. This screen that's in front of me, it's 12 inches, and I can't get over how dumb the way this is arranged. Pretty much my entire seating position is dictated by being able to see how fast I'm going and how much my charge is. Those are all locations where it's very easy for your steering wheel to cut it off if you're sitting just a little bit too high.
Okay, yeah, just move something into the center and move the whatever the car thing to the side. I don't need to see my car all the time, right?
It's so dumb because this big center area that's the majority of the display does not show me any useful information. We have a car that's right there now. That'll tell me if there's like someone in front of me, like I can't see it. Or like, let's see what else we have. Nothing of use. Oh, shut up. I can check my tire pressures. Great. I'll do that once every now and then. I don't know. It just seems like a waste. Every single other electric car or car with a digital dash has just had a reduced mode where it's pretty much just, you know, your speed in the center and that's it. Love that. In my opinion, driving the Ioniq 5 is great. Now, it's not particularly sharp, and the suspension setup is not the best, if I'm honest. It's this weird combination of wallowy and harsh at the same time because, you know, it's an electric car and it weighs 4,500 pounds or whatever. You need to have pretty stiff suspension, but at the same time, they've wanted this to be a comfort-orientated car, so they've loosened up the dampers a bit. It's the setting where like the EV6 had adjustable dampers and I wanted like a softer setting. This is the softer setting, but I still want the option to have those stiffer settings as well. Also, the rebound on these dampers it's just terrible. Rebound is when your spring compresses how it bounces back. And in this, you kind of get a 2-for-1 on big bumps. Like, you get the first bump, and then you get a bump after that bump, and it's pretty crap. Same thing where, like, if you huck it into a corner, it'll load up, and then rebound, and then load up again in this way that's really just kind of concerning and doesn't allow me to go very fast.
I think Alex's a little kind to this car. I personally don't like the suspension because it's like a little stiff, but when you try to corner,
Jeez, boy.
It does not have enough support. Like the body roll control on this car, it's not great.
Now we do have the rear wheel drive model, so it's a little bit on the slow side, but you wouldn't really know if you just step on it. So I'll put it in sport mode here and just floor. Oh yeah. That initial electric hit is really good, and then after that it kind of just tapers off. But you can destroy basically everyone off the line. What I cannot excuse as easily though is the steering. They have 4.5 degrees of casters. Basically, the more caster means it's going to physically lift up your car as you turn the steering wheel. 4.5 degrees isn't a whole lot. Instead, they've kind of just added in some weight into the steering wheel for you, and it takes way more effort than you would expect in a car like this that's so easy to drive otherwise.
I don't really like the weight. It feels a little heavy, even though it's just like in the drive mode, but it still feels like a lot of time I'm using a lot of force on here, upper arm and like the upper arm here. The handling is pretty good. It has the rear wheel drive type of feeling. But like even in low speed, you see like the body roll is, yeah, like if you like a tail happy car, get this one because the rear wheel drive works.
After a review of the EV6, I had to like reflect on why I was so annoyed while driving it. It really didn't ride all that bad. I should have been just fine driving it, but the reason that I wasn't was that it was just really loud in that car. Like you're just driving down the road and you can hear the tires, and maybe part of that was that they're on winters, but I don't think it was a whole lot. There just wasn't the sound isolation that there is in this, and it makes the whole thing feel so much more premium, especially in an EV where you don't have the engine noise to drown out the tires and the creaking and so on and so forth. You need to put so much more effort towards sound isolation, and Hyundai has done that. Like, it's not silent, but it's more than usable in here and much better than like your typical car in this price range, at least in Canada, but we'll get to that later. We need to move that bottle. What I do like though is that Hyundai has understood the assignment. This is never going to be a sports car, no matter how much Kia stiffens up the chassis. It's gonna be something that millennial moms take their kids to soccer practice in and feel kind of cool while they do it. It is not going to become like an RS4 or something like that.
Is this SUV though?
Is it an SUV? Do we call it a mega hatch? Mega hatch is cool, I like that. Now, the range in this is excellent. In our long range rear wheel drive, you get 480 kilometers of range. And I've found that you're able to do the better part of 400. Now, if I had the all-wheel drive, it probably would be the same as the EV6. Not so much because on paper it's different, but just because the all-wheel drive has more power and my right foot has no self-control. Okay, there must be a cop up here. Everyone's just blinking their lights at me. Oh, they got a lot of people. Now, we don't have the Bose premium system in here, but from what I've heard, that's not fantastic, and neither are these. There's a lot of mid-bass and no sub-bass, and the whole thing kind of lacks the richness that I really want from a car stereo. But at the same time, like, if you're coming from a base Civic, you'll be pretty impressed. One other thing, A lot of people got really mad at me after the EV6 video because I didn't talk about charging, and after doing some more research, they are right. In Canada, I could not care less that this does 350 kilowatt charging. There are some 50 kilowatt and some that in theory do like 200 or 300, but those are mostly from Petro-Canada and they're always broken. They've left me stranded before. Awful time. If you're here and in basically all of North America, you need to have at-home charging because it's just such a bad time doing it elsewhere. If you're in Europe though, and hopefully here in the future, having the 350 kilowatts in this is gonna be wicked. You can go from 10 to 80% in just 18 minutes. That is freaking awesome, and I should have brought it up in the EV6 video, to be fair. What's extremely compelling about this car though is the price, at least in Canada. In Canada, this car right here is $53,000. The only two things that I really miss that are options in the limited package are memory seats and auto wipers. All of this means that in Canada at least, the Ioniq 5 just takes a dump on the Model Y's face. That thing starts at $82,000 here. The value proposition is just not there. In the US, it's a little bit more interesting. I think there's only a $3,000 price difference between this and the Model Y down south. So, try them both, see which one you like more, I guess. But yeah, if you're in Canada, get on that waitlist now. This thing's freaking sweet. I like it. So the Ioniq 5, it's a car that understood the assignment. If you want to get from your house to your job in a fairly comfortable, very nice looking car, this is what you want to get. And if you live in British Columbia, especially with like the tax rebates and the fact that electricity is cheap here because it's all hydro.
And the gas price.
Yeah, and the current gas prices, it's hard to justify not getting one of these really, jeez. Huge thanks to Open Road Hyundai in Richmond for hooking us up with this thing. It's been very difficult to get cars because it's very difficult for anyone to get cars right now. So if you want one of these, hit them up, get on the wait list. Actually, do they even have a wait list right now, Andy?
They paused the wait list.
They paused. So get on the list to get on the wait list, I guess.